This presentation should last between 20 and 30 minutes. We're going to look at all aspects of the online recruitment space today that can contribute towards developing a best-in-class direct hire strategy. In this presentation, we're going to look at what's happening right now and what I think will grow in popularity or evolve further, and what is coming in the next 12 to 18 months based upon research that we've done and insights into what new technology is currently being developed in the marketplace. So we're going to look at technology landscape. We're going to look at some of the tools and services that are available online. We're going to take a quick look at best-in-class processes that complement the technology. And we're also going to look at candidate behaviours, probably one of the biggest influencing factors in determining what technology and processes we adopt. So we'll start there, as this is one of the most important factors to take into consideration. We've got a few statistics that we can share with you in regards to this. So what I've done here is I've just taken some of the most influential statistics that I think that all recruiters should be aware of and should have an influence on the way that we apply ourselves to recruit online. So the first statistic, 73% of all searches start in Google. That's across all industry sectors. It's at all levels of seniority. If you are going to use the online space to attract applications, Google is a great place to start to understand where the candidates are going to look for jobs. Google says that there are over 10 million unique job-related searches every month. That's based upon IP. And that's really, it's effectively nearly a third of the working population that are running some sort of job-related search. So let's just break that down quickly. We've got probably about 1 million people who are unemployed right now running job-related searches in Google each month. We've got about 1 million people who are in employment who are committed to finding a new job. And we've probably got 8 million plus people who are in a job right now searching for jobs passively, who are not fully committed to finding work. Now, obviously, the great thing about this statistic is that there's a lot of people out there looking for jobs. So if you're an advertiser, if you can get it right online, it can be very, very effective in terms of attracting direct applicants to your job. Most recent survey done in this area was by Indeed. Only a couple of months ago, they indicated that 50% of all the people that they surveyed that were in employment, over 50% of people that were surveyed that were in employment said that they had done some form of job-related search within the last 3 months. We've been looking at the statistics over the last 3 years, and there's been an increase of around about 15% in online job-related searches by the employed demographic. Now, I think it is important to stress that 90% of searches done by people who are in employment means that people should be adapting their strategies online to the masses to accommodate this. One of the statistics that we've become aware of, even through our own research, is that people who are in employment passively searching will search on average for less than 20 minutes at a time. So we haven't got their attention for very long, small windows of opportunity to get the job in front of their eyeballs and then persuade them to believe that this job is better than the one that they've currently got. So first area we're going to look at in terms of how we adapt our online strategy. One of the most major pieces of research that's been done into direct hire strategy was done by Forbes last year. And in their summary, they concluded that to operate a best-in-class online recruitment service, you would need a cloud-based recruitment platform at the center of your strategy. Traditionally, these have come in the forms of ATS. Most of ATS systems are still software, unfortunately, but they are slowly moving to the cloud. The advantage, of course, of having a cloud solution is that you're only paying for the users that utilize the platform. It's usually plug and play. And with many of the more modern cloud-based recruitment platforms, there is the ability to integrate third-party services into them. Obviously, with their software system, that is much more difficult to do and more costly. Quite often, the cloud-based systems have got self-configuration and customizable features so that you can adapt the way that the system works according to the way that you want to operate around your own processes and to achieve your own objectives. Ultimately, these centralization platforms mean that you can operate all your recruitment activity from a single dashboard. A good platform will also be responsive and adapt to different mobile and tablet sizes, and they will contain applications that actually work. Many of the features that have been built into some of the old ATS systems were very questionable as to actually whether or not they achieved the outcomes that they purported to do so. So this next slide, I wanted to talk about automating the application process. I think it's important to understand, firstly, from the candidate perspective, that it is absolutely critical to avoid putting any screening and filtering in front of the candidate until you've actually received their application. If you do that, you will lose between 60 and 90% of all applications in the process. It's one of the flaws of the ATS systems that drive applicants to application pages or career pages. The modern system will allow the candidate to apply just by hitting a button. That will allow their CV or profile to be filtered into the dashboard, and then an invitation can go out if an application form is required or screening is required. But you can issue and roll out the different elements of the screening process at the appropriate stages and combine that with some nurturing as well. It's very important these candidates feel that they're moving through the process. From the user perspective, it's very important that we automate as much of the mechanical tasks as we can. Clever software solutions like parsing will auto-populate fields for you and will also help you to identify the best candidates based on skills and experience. For any best-in-breed recruitment solution, the user has to be able to identify what's working and what's not working. To do that, we need to measure. And when we measure it, we can either then look to find ways to improve it and do more of it. If it's not working, we can make plans to remove it. With the plethora of new and emerging technologies which are coming into the marketplace, it's really important that when you bring something new to the table to use within your recruitment strategy, that you measure its outcomes. So the existing recruitment landscape looks a little bit like this. Anybody that's running a very effective, comprehensive recruitment strategy in-house will recognise most of the elements associated in here. So what we've got here at the centrepiece is the applicant tracking system, the CRM, or the centralisation platform, whichever recruitment system you're using to manage your campaigns from. Multi-posting services. Anybody that's looking to run a world-class direct hire strategy knows that they're going to have to advertise the job across multiple channels, and to distribute that job and to receive the applications back, a multi-post is going to be required. Many of the applicant tracking systems, centralisation systems and CRMs can be quickly and easily integrated with tools like Broadbean, so that this can all take place extremely efficiently. Analytics tools should come as part of any recruitment platform. Background checks are available through organisations such as Experian, extremely cost effective and can usually be integrated into your platform too. Most companies that run an efficient direct hire strategy understand the importance of having a very powerful and strong career pages, not only so that candidates can find and apply jobs through those career pages, but also to find information about you as an organisation. Very important to utilise video to promote the organisation and opportunities, and provide presentations on what it's like to work within the organisation, maybe including case studies and things like that. Parsing technology, often incorporated into many of these recruitment platforms, will automate the application process, will self-populate fields in the database, help you avoid duplication of effort. And if you're paying for the best parsing technology like Burning Glass, it will even match the candidates to the job and place them into order of suitability for you. Most people are familiar with psychometrics. I'm not going to talk about this too much because there's a slide coming up. We're going to talk about this in a bit more detail. Behavioural profiling, measuring candidates, behavioural and cultural preferences against those of the business, identifying areas of conflict, can all be done within the platform and should form an essential part of any world-class recruitment process. Video profiling tools, so that we can actually get a quick insight into the candidates, what they look like, what they sound like, how they communicate, and a bit about their personality. And social profiling, not something that I've completely been won over with just yet, but we get a lot of requirements for this particular type of tool and technology from our customers, so I've included it in this slideshow today. So moving on to the future, and what do the online tools of tomorrow look like? Okay, well, we can talk about some of the tools that we can expect to see in the next 12 to 18 months. A continuation of the centralization platform, multifunctional centralization systems that can be quickly and easily adapted to your own requirements to meet the objectives that you have, that can be customized by you personally without having to pay development fees to the owners of the software. And can quickly and easily be integrated into other third-party tools that come into the marketplace. So you're not restricted when there is new innovation that's coming in. Tools that can actually help meet your objectives can actually be utilised and pulled in as part of your recruitment platform. Automated job advert creation tools. Now, I've seen a couple that have emerged into the marketplace more recently, and you're going to see more of this. We're looking at something ourselves that we can integrate into our own platform at Smart Recruit Online. I want you to imagine a system where you populate the fields of job title, maybe industry sector, pick a tone, and the job advert self-populates, even if it's just as a starting point to help inspire you to write better copy and to include the elements that you need to put into the essential and desirable criteria fields. Most people struggle with writing good advertising copy, so a tool that can give people a head start on this and get them 70 to 90% of the way there, I think is going to be extremely popular in the marketplace. I can pretty much guarantee that there'll be something available through our own tool within the next 3 to 6 months. So we've already mentioned self-serve customization tools. These are components within the centralization system that allows you to change the style and look and feel of the platform that you're working from, so that it feels a bit more like an extension to your website, but also so that you can customize the way that the different tools work within it, whether that's for managing agencies or whether it's creating unique email templates or approval processes, whatever it might be. More accurate algorithmic software parsing. Parsing's only getting cleverer. It's only getting more accurate. And as that happens, its ability to be able to complement the recruitment process, removing much of the mechanical tasks that are there and saving time so that we can put more time, more effort into doing stuff with the best candidates that have applied. Expect the integration of big data and market intelligence into recruitment platforms in the not too distant future. Imagine a scenario where you're posting your job, you've added your job title, you've added your industry sector, you've added your location, and the system is able to pull through data, giving you indications of what sort of salary bands have been advertised and what worked in recent times for that geographic area, for those specific skill sets. So if you might be just about to be posting a really critical job, you've chosen a salary of, let's say, £40,000, just as any figure out of thin air, and suddenly the information that's coming through is suggesting to you that other jobs that have been advertised at that similar salary have really struggled to get the right sort of volume of applications coming through, yet other jobs that have been advertised at 50,000 have had an abundance of candidates coming through. This might influence you to make the right decisions, at the time of posting the job and improve the efficiencies around that. More mainstream gamification. Well, gamification seems to be something that only the big boys have been able to sort of, take advantage of so far, as the gamification tools have been customized and made specifically for certain organizations, even for certain or specific jobs. What I'm envisaging in the future is a range of mainstream gamification tools that will allow us to challenge candidates in a much more fun and enjoyable way to assess their suitability from a skills and experience perspective. Most of us have probably experienced recruiting for a role where we've struggled to get the right sort of volume of quality candidates coming through. And, when you're only looking at 2 or 3 really good candidates, there can be an element of fear in there that, not to push too hard on the qualification side of things. But we know that we should be doing that. We should be making sure that these candidates are fit for the task and, are going to, be capable of doing the job that we're recruiting them for. So I can envisage ways of challenging candidates to demonstrate their skills, knowledge and experience in much more fun ways, and that becoming much more available to the mainstream. More video tools. We're not going to talk about too much detail. So I've got another slide coming up. We're going to talk about where I think video is going to go and how video can be utilised, in the immediate future. And of course, everything that's being developed needs to work on mobile. Just one point on mobile. I think there's around about 87% of all candidates recently surveyed said that they actually did some form of search on mobile when last looking for a job. However, there's only around about 20% of candidates that are actively applying for jobs on mobile. So there is a sort of a breakdown there in the ability to be able to apply for jobs, or the fact that the candidates actually aren't comfortable applying for a job. They perhaps want to get back to their PC and do some research on the organisation before they feel comfortable hitting the apply button. So within the topic of this conversation, I knew that I had to deal with sources of applicants, and I went through where the main sources of applicants are coming from utilising our tool, and nothing's really changed in the last 12 to 18 months to any too great a degree. Definitely right out at the top there, direct advertising media, the job boards dominating sources of applicants online, closely followed by a reinvigorated referral programs, which are having some sort of renaissance at the moment. I think certainly in the harder to find jobs, clients are turning back to their own staff to try and sort of find people that potentially could be suitable. I am seeing some new technology come through in this area, which is quite interesting, and we expect to be developing something ourselves next year on this. There has been an increase in PPC, pay-per-click, and sponsored advertising on sites like Indeed and Google. The problem that we've got with this is that when you actually measure the cost per application through these tools, it is significantly higher than the cost of receiving applications from a job board. I mean, we're talking like 10 times the cost to receive an individual application from a PPC campaign than a job board. Social media still not really performing in terms of an advertising media, but definitely growing in importance, certainly for the larger organisations that want to try and put together pools of talent, of specific skill sets that they can engage with and build relationships with, so that when they are recruiting for those particular skills, there's already relationship there between the company and the individuals. And tapping into sort of talent pools, the databases of candidates, still an important source. What I do expect to see occurring over the next 12 to 18 months is improvements to the tools and to the facilities that we utilise across these different sort of sources of applicants to improve and maximise and optimise the results that we're able to generate. Okay, we already spoke briefly about assessing candidates for skills and experience. As we said, gamification, practical tests, technical testing, competency-based assessments being used as part of the recruitment process. I think we're going to see more comprehensive testing, certainly from recruitment agencies who want to stand out from the also-rans in the marketplace, offering a wider range of services that will help the clients to make better decisions in the recruitment process. And when it comes to making better decisions in the recruitment process, nothing really stands out quite like the assessment of candidates for behavioural and cultural alignment. We know from all the research that everybody's done that over 80% of candidates that leave in the first year leave because of behavioural and cultural reasons, not because they technically weren't capable of doing the job. The problem that we have is that we're not assessing candidates well enough to identify where the problems might occur. What I like specifically about behavioural assessments as opposed to psychometrics is that you, the company, you, the individual, on behalf of the company, are creating the benchmark against which you want to measure the candidate. And when the candidate completes the questionnaire, what we're able to do is to look at where the areas of potential conflict exist, and we can make decisions around that as to whether or not we want to progress that candidate, or if we do progress that candidate to interview, we know which areas to hone in on in terms of the interview questions that we're going to ask. Certainly by combining good behavioural assessments along with the skills and experience assessments that we're doing, we should be able to make better hiring decisions. Now, let's assume that we've done our behavioural assessments, we've done our skills testing, we like the candidates, we've interviewed the candidates, and we want to move forward to offer. Well, the tools are out there to do these background checks. It amazes me how few organisations actually issue these out. Companies like Experian will do background checks, ID checks, qualification checks, and reference checking, all for under £50. You're only going to do that to the candidates who you're going to offer to. When you consider the research that was done by KPMG and PricewaterhouseCoopers a couple of years ago, where from interviewing more than 1,000 businesses around their recruitment process, they identified that 1 in 5 hires subsequently turned out to be a bad hire that could have been avoided with better due diligence. For under £50 to just do these final checks before going to offer, it seems ludicrous that businesses aren't embracing this. These tools can be integrated into your recruitment platform. They can be issued at the push of a button. They can be preset, and the results can come back into the dashboard, and offers can be made subject to satisfactory results coming back. When you consider what the cost is to a business of making a bad hire, for a salary of over £30,000, it's a minimum. If for somebody that's left within sort of 6 to 12 months, it's a minimum of £50,000 cost to the business, and there's just no excuse for not issuing these background checks. Okay, so I said surely not more video, because video's been getting a lot of airtime in the last 12 to 18 months. It's it's an evolution in recruitment. There's been talk of this. There's been video tools that have been gradually creeping into the recruitment space, but we've definitely established video as an important and integral part of the recruitment and assessment process now. I think where we've moved to Skype for doing quick sort of live face-to-face interviews online. What we're going to move to now is recording these interviews. I think that's going to become a much more common thing to do, and then storing that video recording against the candidate's details inside the recruitment platform, so that other people who are involved in the recruitment process can come in and watch it in their own time and contribute their own assessments based on what took place. We're also seeing the rise of video profiling, probably the fastest growing area in the recruitment technology space in the last couple of years. I define it as video profiling, where this is a one-way communication. So we're issuing the candidate with a list of questions. They may be recorded, and the candidate may be able to see you asking those questions, or they may just be coming through as text. I don't see this as an interview. I think if people try and do interviews with this one-dimensional form of video profiling, I think it's flawed. I think it will fail. But if you're literally just trying to assess the candidate's presentation skills, the way that they look, their communication skills, and get a little insight into their personality, then these tools are fantastic attributes that can contribute towards the whole of the selection process. What I see coming in the very near future is video messaging. Some very detailed work that's been done through IBM, who are now using video messaging as a preferred method of communication to their database of candidates when they're recruiting, has seen an increase of a threefold increase in the response rate for messages going out inviting candidates to consider new positions. And I think that when this video messaging technology is being developed, it's quite logical that it could be utilised for creating short videos that could also be used for marketing purposes as well. So creating a small video with the hiring manager themselves bringing the job to life. I mean, it doesn't have to be the hiring manager. It could be a volunteer, somebody from the organisation that's talking about the job. But in the same way that we can use video profiling of candidates to get an insight into the candidate, we can use video marketing to give the candidates an insight into ourselves. And if we use the right people and we do this intelligently, I can see this having a really positive impact on application rates and application numbers. So this is where I think we're going to end up being in the next year or so. I mean, people have talked for a long time about, how long the CV and cover sheet has been the preferred method of introducing a candidate to a client, or, a candidate applying to a job. And I think what strikes me is, having put together a platform where the client can actually view lots of different aspects about the candidate and have a much more holistic view of the candidate and make better hiring decisions, that this is just going to become the vehicle that people will naturally utilize in the future to introduce their clients to candidates, or candidates will complete these different elements to give the client a much more holistic view of themselves. So, I mean, this is just a snapshot from our own platform, but I'm sure you can imagine. Would you rather have a CV and cover sheet, or would you rather log into 5 or 6 candidates, click on the link and be taken here, first of all, to the CV, then perhaps in the document area, you might see a cover sheet, some notes from the recruiter, maybe some competency-based questions or a skills test that's been completed. Over here, we can watch the video that the candidate's completed, have a look at the behavioural assessment report, and identify where the potential areas of conflict are. And even later on in the process, being able to view background checks and ID checks and, reference checks. And also, check out all the communications that have been taking place between the recruiter and the candidate throughout the course of the recruitment campaign. I know that if I was a client and I had the choice of seeing a CV and cover sheet, or this range of different sort of elements that would help me to make better hiring decisions, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer what I would choose. So I wanted to put this slide into this presentation because it's something that we have to talk to all of our users about, because we've got a great piece of technology which is extremely efficient. It's one of the most advanced pieces of technology of its kind anywhere in the marketplace across the world. But to get the system working most efficiently, there needs to be a layer of process, so that each stage in the recruitment life cycle, we're prepared to intervene as human beings with the candidate as is required. Some of these processes you can actually set up to be automated, but they should be done so in accordance with the objectives that you want to achieve from your recruitment, or if you know where your issues are or where your challenges are, to set them up accordingly. But there are times when human beings need to replace technology. Technology cannot do this job on its own, and I'd like to give you a very simple example of how this can be. If we were to issue a video profiling request to 10 candidates that we've shortlisted, and no matter how well I craft my message that goes out with that invitation to complete the video profile, and no matter what else I send out with it, I think optimistically, the very best that I'm going to achieve is probably get 4 out of those 10 candidates to complete the video profile. Which is a bit disappointing, but that may be, that technology is quite new at the moment, and people feel slightly uncomfortable with it. But eventually, it will become the norm. It'll become as normal as requesting a telephone interview, I'm sure. But just to give you an example of how the human interaction element can actually improve conversions and influence better outcomes, because it's the outcomes that we're after here. We want to get the candidates to complete the video profile. Otherwise, we don't have the opportunity to be able to review it and assess the candidate properly. If I pick the phone up and I call these 10 candidates and I introduce myself and explain, what we're doing, that we're really excited about seeing their application, that we've been impressed with their application, and that, explaining that we've got some screening processes that we're going to go through, tell them we're going to send them the video profile and to give them my contact details should they have any problems or issues doing it, the conversion rate will go up to about 9 out of 10 candidates completing the task. So the one point I want to stress here is that put all the right technology in place, of course, improve the efficiencies, speed up the process, take out duplication of effort, remove mechanical tasks, by all means, use technology where it can benefit, but not to the detriment of influencing the outcomes with candidates. And certainly the candidates we're interested in, the ones that we've identified in the shortlist, we still need to engage with those people. We still need to romance them. We still need to win them over. So my last slide here, last but one slide here, a very topical element that people talk to me about is about corporate brand and the candidate experience. So for me, there's a couple of things here that are nicely entwined. Firstly, the first thing I want to say about corporate brand is, your reputation is all built on trust, and it evolves from the people that currently work for you. It's what your people that work for you right now say about you is your brand. So that is the best place to start. However, there is a second group of people, a second and third group of people who we can touch and who we can influence and who will talk about us and who are affected and we can affect with our brand, and to create a reputation and when we can build trust with. And they are our customers and also potential future employees. So I'm not going to deal with customers today because that's another topic of conversation. But potential employees, these are a group of people who are already out there in the talent pools that we're going to be tapping into, and they're ready to talk about us. They're ready to talk about us positively or negatively. Every time that we recruit a job, we push our job out and we drop into 3 demographic areas: local geography, industry specific, and skill specific. And those people within those talent pools that are relevant to that job that we're offering, that are considering our opportunity, may be influenced by what other people are saying within those networks. It's very important that companies that are advertising jobs think of every applicant as a secret shopper, somebody that could potentially go away and become an advocate of your brand. All right, but equally, they could go away and be very negative about your brand. So really important. And with a good recruitment technology platform, it should be very easy, very straightforward to provide feedback, keep candidates informed, decline candidates, when they're unsuitable, notify them that you've received their application and that they're under consideration, give them information as they move through the process, and pick up the phone and talk to them before you start your screening, and give the candidates a good good experience of your brand as they go through your recruitment process. Do you know, even when you reject a candidate, if they've had a good experience of working with you, they'll still want to work for you, and they'll talk admirably about your organisation, your brand to other people as well. So that's it for this presentation. Hopefully what we've given you today is a few valuable insights into some of the key tools, systems and processes that are out there, and some insights into what we can expect to come in the near future that will help you to recruit faster, more efficiently, and to achieve better outcomes.